42nd season of Monday Night Football. We only have 17 games left in this NFL regular season. Of the 12 playoff spots, 9 are decided. These two teams are in the tournament. Simple math. Saints win, they win the South. If Atlanta wins, they need to win again and hope the Saints lose to Carolina here on Sunday for the Falcons to repeat as division champs. But important for Atlanta, if things stay the way they are right now, they could end up as the number 6 seed. And if New Orleans stays at the 3, Falcons can be right back here in 2 weeks for a playoff meeting. So very important game between teams that know each other. When the 70s were here and these teams weren't good, their matchups were entertaining. Now that they're very good football teams, they played some of the best games in the NFC over the last couple of years. I'm bringing my partners, Ron Jaworski and John Gruden. We talk about Drew Brees going for the record, and we'll get to that in a couple of minutes. But, John, as you watch this Saints offense, maybe it's playing as well as they were the Super Bowl year 2 years ago.
What I love about this offense is its complexity. You're going to see an array of formations, personnel groupings in different plays tonight. You might not see the same play twice. And the Saints play with great offensive tempo. It's like watching the Los Angeles Lakers on a 3-on-2 fast break. I've seen a lot of balls dumped over the goalpost here. They're also playing a lot better on defense since the return of their middle linebacker, Jonathan Velma. However, they've had a number of coverage breakdowns this year in New Orleans, and they're last in football with just 13 takeaways. That must change. And finally, these two head coaches know what it takes to win the NFC South. They're both very confident in their football teams, and trust me, both these guys are willing to take risk if necessary to win this game.
Like Mike Smith did the 4th and 1 that didn't work 6 weeks ago in Atlanta when the Saints got a road overtime win. Since then, Jaws, the Falcons have won 4 of their last 5, maybe playing their best ball of the year.
Now, Mike, I watched those last 5 games, and what stood out to me was how consistently they're now playing. And that's exactly how you want to play late in the season and going into the playoffs. And remember, the Falcons last played 11 days ago on a Thursday night. So Mike Smith gave his players 3 days off. And that's a godsend to the players. They're probably as healthy as they've been all season long. But Mike Smith and the coaches, they kept working. So you give an NFL coach 3 extra days to prepare, you will see something unique tonight in the game plan. And quarterback Matt Ryan has really elevated his game. He has command of this offense, particularly in their no-huddle scheme. And you will see a lot of that tonight. When you play against a blitzing team like the Saints, oh, by the way, they blitz more than any team in the NFL, the no-huddle has a way of calming things down a bit.
Yeah, we mentioned this series has been good. How good? Take you to the Verizon Red Zone. Last 4 meetings. It's the first time in NFL history 4 regular season games between a pair of teams have all been won by the visitors by a margin of 3 or less. Let's hope we have 5th example of that in a row here tonight. If it happens, when it happens, as it happens, you'll see it in high definition. Our telecast presented in HD by Verizon. We'll talk about the Brees record chase when you come back.
Game day, any day. Got to get my hands on some Subway steak melts.
Bring on a tender, juicy steak and cheese, or tackle the monumentally massive Big Philly cheesesteak.
A protein-packed powerhouse.
Bam! And for breakfast, send morning hunger to the sidelines with a melt-delicious steak, bacon, egg, and cheese on flatbread.
Made fresh, just the way I like. Delicious.
Irresistibly tempting Subway steak melts.
Get your head in the game and try one, will you? Subway, where winners eat.
Time for tonight's Subway Fresh Take. It was the Monday Night Football finale 27 years ago, December 1984, in the Orange Bowl in Miami. That pass gave Dan Marino the record, and then the final minute, the game-winning touchdown to Mark Clayton. It established the all-time NFL record for passing yards in one season, 5,084, a mark that has stood for 27 years. But tonight, Drew Brees, averaging just over 340 yards a game this year, needs only 305 to break the Marino record. The man calling the plays, head coach Sean Payton, earlier with our Susie Calder.
Mike, we know that Sean's top priority is the division title. But can you share with us just the feeling in your heart and the emotion just thinking about Drew maybe breaking this record?
Well, it's interesting it happens on, or has a chance to happen on Monday night, a nationally televised game, a game really with a lot of significance. And I think the one thing Drew said earlier in the week is I think it's that much more meaningful because we're sitting here with 11 wins, we're playing for something, we're playing for a chance to win the division. And I think probably like any other record or accomplishment, the more you have a chance to reflect on something like that, the more meaningful it is. But, you know, here at home, it's pretty special.
Sean Payton. Brees takes aim at the Marino mark. The Saints look to sew up the South. The Falcons have Matty Ice and the future Hall of Famer Tony Gonzalez trying to prevent the party. Next on Oh White Christmas, Betty White. John, she had one more line about you. It just didn't make the cut.
Thank goodness.
He's a great one.
That was great. That was my mom there for a second.
Hope you had a great Christmas holiday. Many of you had the day off. Glad you're settled in with family and friends for what should be a good one. The division title on the line here in New Orleans tonight. Toss won by the Falcons. Matt Ryan in Atlanta gets the ball first. Thomas Morstead kicks to Eric Weeds. Up we go from New Orleans. Atlanta set the NFL record for touchbacks. Adds another 56 on the season. First 4 years, tops in terms of total wins for quarterback, Matt Ryan. He's taken his team to the playoffs now for 3 of the 4 years.
Yeah, Mike, and Matt Ryan's record as a starter is 42-18. He got off to a slow start this season, but he's really found his rhythm, throwing for 17 touchdowns and only 4 picks in his last 7 games. He has great command of this offense, and he loves the no-huddle. Look for it tonight.
Possible here in the dome. First throw to Julio Jones. Jabari Greer in the open field. Minimal gain.
How about that for a first play? Mike Mularkey opens up with 4 receivers, 1 tight end, and no backs. And Julio Jones, a wide receiver, comes out of the backfield playing a running back position. Look for Mike Mularkey, the offensive coordinator of the Falcons, to use all kind of deception tonight.
3 extra days to prepare for this matchup. You'll see some gimmicks and gadgets.
After the gain of 1, Michael Turner's first run. Used a Tony Gonzalez block, kept his legs churning 3 yards shy of the first down. Jonathan Vilma the tackle. Turner 6th in the league in rushing. Roddy White tied for 3rd in receptions. Julio Jones, 3 touchdowns last couple of games. The future Hall of Famer Gonzalez. Now up front, instability first 7 weeks. Much better the last 7. Todd McClure went to LSU down the way over in Baton Rouge. 13 years in the league. Underappreciated and very essential against the ever-changing Saints defense, doing stuff like that here tonight. Third and 2. Jason Snelling picked up the pressure, and the pass to Gonzalez is the first down at the 35 in front of Roman Harper.
Well, Tony Gonzalez at 6'4", 251 pounds. What a nice size advantage he has. You'll see Harper move back to the outside. Now you've got big Tony on a smaller Roman Harper at 6 foot, and Matt Ryan puts the ball right on his hands. And look how he reaches out and catches the football. Basketball-like. That's those basketball skills he learned in town.
Mike Cox, the fullback, came in motion, tries to lead the way, and Turner cuts it back. Gets across the 40-yard line, tackled there by Patrick Robinson. New Orleans on defense. Will Smith has 6.5 sacks. The starting defensive line a total of 7. Nothing from Cameron Jordan, the first rounder. Jonathan Vilma, leader of the defense, calling the signals. Missed the first Atlanta game with a knee that's still bothering him a bit. Roman Harper, he's the team leader in sacks. If he gets 1 tonight, he'll have more in a season than any DB since they started making sacks an official stat 30 years ago. A lot of pressure. Greg Williams, the master of defensive confusion. That time Turner is stopped barely a yard. Sean Rogers, the tackle, and what a chess match we have with the coaches and then their leaders on the field.
Well, Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator, gives Jonathan Vilma, the middle linebacker, the autonomy to change any defense that he wants. He can change the front. He can change the coverage. He can change into a blitzer. He can do whatever he wants based on what he sees and what Matt Ryan does. A lot of this football game is going to be played before the ball is snapped. Watch these 2 veterans go after each other.
First down the way to the 45. Ryan just pushes it forward, and Jason Snelling takes it into Saints territory. First down at the 43 and a gain of 16.
This is an outstanding job by Matt Ryan in the pocket. Right here, you'll see him step up once there's some pressure. Coming from right up the middle, leaves a little lane. That's a nice athletic move by Matt Ryan. He's not known for his mobility, but he does have pocket mobility. The ability to move and the nice vision of finding the check down to Snelling.
Snelling in his 5th year out of Virginia remains the back. Ryan a play action first down, looking for the middle. Roddy White got it at the 23. 20 yards and a first down. What a good opening drive, Atlanta.
Well, when you get the running game going, you can sell a play-action pass. And watch the linebackers step up and honor this play-action pass. There's nobody underneath Roddy White. Excellent early down call. Watch Roddy White just slip inside this cloud corner, push up the field, turn balls there. Great job getting up and catching the football in his hands. Roddy White, powerful upper body, can really snatch it.
Atlanta using the full arsenal of personnel. Jaquiz Rogers, the rookie out of Oregon State, as the back. Speedy, little misdirection with Rogers. An open field tackle from Jabari Greer.
Well, you know, if you watch the Saints sideline, you see Drew Brees over there getting Gatorade, growing ever impatient. The #1 mission for this Falcon offense is to keep Drew Brees on the sideline. And to do that, you have to possess the football. They've converted 3rd downs, and already this drive is taking the clock inside of 10 minutes. Good football coming out here by the Atlanta Falcons.
However, John, they must finish. I love the time of possession, sustained offense, but you've got to finish with touchdowns.
2nd and 11. Pressure picked up. Ryan's pass to Jones is deflected. An incomplete, and Jabari Greer, been everywhere on this series. He breaks it up.
Well, here's a blitz situation, and Julio Jones versus Jabari Greer. It's just going to be a post pattern. Watch Jones try to cross Jabari Greer's face. Well timed by the veteran corner. Jabari Greer has as many pass breakups this year as any man in football. Huge 3rd down. And this is where the crowd is effective.
That was his 18th right there, John.
Jaquiz Rogers the back. They rush 4. Ryan goes underneath. Rogers can't make 3 men miss as Vilma and Scott Shanley waiting for him. Back at the 16 will have a field goal attempt.
Well, you're going to see a blitz coming off the left side, and the left tackle, number 74, Svitek, is going to pick it up. Ryan checks it down, and watch Vilma and a host of New Orleans Saints stop Rogers just short of the first down. Saints do an excellent job getting off the field on 3rd down. That's one thing they've done well since Greg Williams has come to New Orleans.
2 excellent kickers in this game. Matt Bryant from 34. So Atlanta takes the coin toss, takes the kick, takes 6 minutes off the clock, and scores first. Its team, 11 plays, 64 yards in 6 minutes. It's the first 6-minute scoring drive against the Saints since Atlanta did it when these teams first met. And they did it twice in that meeting 6 weeks ago. Back behind Jeff Charleston there is Darren Sproles, trying to set a block for the man who leads the NFL in total yards here this season, including his kick return work. We'll take Matt Bryant's kick from 4 yards deep. Nowhere to go. Very well covered. Sproles going to be stopped at the 15-yard line by Eric Weems of the Falcons. Well, will it be a record night for Drew Brees? Needs 3:05 to get the Marino mark. Already in a 3-point hole.
It's the
business. Drew Brees and the Saints take the field.
Yeah, astonishing numbers, no question. Just watch how he keeps the Saints in optimum play selection with audibles and check with me's. He's going to read the Falcons' mail tonight. That's when he's at his best.
Grind start from the 16. It's play action. It's a shot for Lance Moore. Playing with a red and green Christmas theme on his feet. Lance Moore to the 45-yard line. And it begins with a gain of 39.
Well, with the Saints and Drew Brees, play action is a major part of their offense. Drew Brees comes out of this, and his eyes immediately go downfield. Look at the outstanding protection to let this play develop. And you got more behind the secondary. Watch this release right now. Goes to the inside. Now, it looks like he's going to block. He takes it back outside. Beautiful adjustment to the coverage by Lance Moore.
Officially a gain of 38. And Chris Ivory runs for the first time. Got rid of Brett Grimes, the corner. And very close to a first down at the 35-yard line. He's got it.
A lot of these running plays, they want to test Brent Grimes, who's been out for 3 weeks with a knee injury. They don't even want to block Grimes. They want this ball to press, and if it does cut outside, make Grimes make the tackle. And they're finding out early about Brent Grimes' health. Not very good right there.
Grimes missed the last 3 games, right knee surgery. Back in the lineup tonight. From the 35, this great tempo, and Brees another throw, and it's almost intercepted. William Moore, second-round pick a couple of years ago out of Missouri, breaks it up. You're going to see a ton of people on offense as usual. Mark Ingram, the Heisman winner, is out, so it's Sproles, Thomas, and Ivory in the backfield. As for the receivers, we didn't know if Moore was going to play as he had an injury this week, but he goes with the rest of the bunch. And Jimmy Graham leads the team with 87 catches. And up front, Nix and Evans, the guards, Pro Bowlers. Jermon Bushrod, the left tackle, will be tested with John Abraham, the pass rush impact man for the Falcons. Quick hit, Brees, Graham, first down.
This is where Drew Brees is just magnificent. Here's the blitz. There's going to be a free rusher, and Brees has to throw it hot. Watch the blitz coming at the top of the screen, and Jimmy Graham is going to look for the ball under control. That is perfect execution of how to throw a ball hot to a tight end against the blitz. There's not a lot Drew Brees misses, Jaws. That's impressive.
He throws it right at their eyes so they see it coming.
Pierre Thomas now in the back. Carries inside the 20. The 15. To a first down at the 13. This is the only team in the NFL that has 3 400-plus yard rushers. Thomas, undrafted free agent out of Illinois, was their leading rusher in 08 and 09. You've got Darren Sproles with his short size but quick burst. He's nearly 500 rushing yards. And then Chris Ivory we saw earlier. So the combination of backs, along with the combination of receivers, ever-changing personnel to keep the defense's head spinning.
And Mike, in the red zone, Drew Brees has been great. 23 touchdowns, only 1 interception.
From the 13, a pump and a throw to Graham. Incomplete, with Moore taking a shot at him as he extended out.
Jimmy Graham is a tight end that can line up anywhere on the football field. That time he's lined up as a wide receiver. They try a double move. Just a slant and go. Brees pumps it, and Will Moore, the free safety, number 25, does a great job rallying to knock the ball away.
Saints have 4 plays that have gained yards so far of their 6, and they're all double-digit yards. Here goes Thomas up the middle, inside the 10. On second down, and Thomas being close to 8. A third and a couple coming up.
You know, nobody talks about the running game enough here in New Orleans. They're 8th in the league. You can go over the stats all you want. But when you have a left guard, number 77, like Nix, and a right guard like number 73, Jari Evans, you ought to be able to run the ball inside. These 2 guards are massive. And the Saints running backs run like it's, like you said, Jaws, the last carry of their life. And they run hard.
A lot of competition.
It's 3rd and 2, and it's Thomas up the middle. Touchdown! Touchdown, New Orleans!
That's just imposing your will on your opponent. You have a Pro Bowl right guard in Jari Evans, and you have a big-time thumper at left guard in Carl Nix. And you're seeing a defense that's spread out, playing a lot of zone coverage. Excellent job calling plays by Sean Payton and his staff.
Well, the little gift idea with a bow to put on it to give a fan was cute, but as it took so long and using it as a prop, a 15-yard penalty is going to come to Thomas and the Saints on this kickoff.
Just not smart, Mike.
No.
I mean, you love the run, great effort getting in, but now you're going to hurt your team on this kickoff.
unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 23 on the offense, using the football as a prop in his demonstration. That 15-yard penalty to be assessed on the ensuing kickoff.
I was wondering if Jeff Triplett, our referee, was going to say, using a Christmas bow as a prop with the ball. You got to know stuff like that is going to be called. Is it fun? Is it cute? Yeah, but you know the rules, and it doesn't make sense to hurt your team 15.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, 15-yard yellow flag.
Extra point added by John Casey. Jaws said it when Atlanta got down to the red zone, you need touchdowns. They got a field goal. Brees took that ball that was gift-wrapped to a fan. 8 plays, 84 yards, and the Saints take the lead.
As my world turns to heartbeats, not only in my chest, but the heart.
Yo, I'm on my way.
Experience your sound like never before. The HTC Resound with Beats Audio built in.
Fans celebrate another touchdown drive. 8 plays and 84 yards, capped off by the Pierre Thomas score. Because he didn't go Joe Horn with the cell phone under the goalpost wrapping, but instead brought out the bow, and it cost his team 15. So Morstead, who leads the league in touchbacks, has that great leg, will kick from the 20. Put the ball in the hands of Eric Weems, an excellent return man for Atlanta. How about this kick? All the way back to the 1. Weems gets a rare return tonight. Goes down to the 27-yard line. Couple of drives, couple of scores. It's what we expect from these quarterbacks. Two of the better ones in the NFL. Matt Ryan put up a field goal, then Brees a touchdown.
Call or click today.
The Atlanta Falcons were the #1 seed in the NFC last year. Of course, they lost to Green Bay on the Packers' 6-seed march to the Super Bowl. And a chance to repeat as a division champ for the Falcons to win tonight, then win next week and have the Saints lose to Carolina. Drive started at 28. Here's Turner. Turner with a gain of about 4 yards. Michael Turner chance to move up to a 3rd on the NFL rushing list for this year. If he can gain 96 yards tonight, he's got 2/3 of their carries, and he's been their leading rusher 28 straight games, longest such streak in the NFL.
Yeah, I call him road rage. He runs with a rage. He's got a great low center of gravity, and he fights for inches.
Essentially, 3 receivers to the right, with Gonzalez the one close to the formation. And Tony gets catch 76 of the year and a first down at the 39.
This is a remarkable tight end, Tony Gonzalez. His 15th year in this league and still very productive. And a very intelligent tight end. Obviously, with 15 years of experience, he should be. But he feels the void in the defense. And he really is the go-to guy, the clutch receiver for Matt Ryan. And he needs that security blanket first down.
The 39, they bring everybody to the right. Turner trying to get to the left. And Cedric Ellis, who's had a quiet season, makes a nice play for a loss of a yard. Now that catch by Gonzalez gets him to 76 catches, so he's over 75. And for perspective on that, here's the list of 6 in NFL history who've had this many seasons with 75 catches. Gonzalez now is 8th. Joins our colleague Chris Carter, Marvin Harrison, Torrey Holt. Gonzalez 2nd on the all-time list to Jerry Rice in terms of receptions in NFL history. Ryan 6 of 7 passing here tonight. Steps up. He's got Julio Jones in Saints territory at the 37. First down and a gain of 25.
Will Smith has eaten the Falcons alive in recent games. That time he's off to the races. And watch the pass protection help that the Falcons get on Will Smith to allow this play to happen. You're going to see Smith get a good get off. He's going to beat Speed Tech initially, but Michael Turner does a great job chipping him. And that's an excellent touch throw by Matt Ryan. And Julio Jones has brought a lot of explosion and a new bag of tricks to this offense for the Falcons.
Heavy formation to the left. Ryan out of the pocket right for Roddy White. Inbounds, yes. At the 21-yard line, White with a gain of 16.
Why, Mike, you mentioned that heavy formation. And Mike Mularkey told us he loves deception. And these first two drives, we've seen just an amazing amount of different formations. You see the end of that play. It looks like he was inbounds and held on to the football. Let's see it from this angle. Knees down, maintains possession of the football. Right there comes up with, but a lot of formation variations right now and a lot of deception by this Atlanta offense.
Play clock at 5. Just getting it off in time. Ryan Gonzalez too tall. With Malcolm Jenkins, the free safety, buzzing over towards Tony.
You know, for years, Tony Gonzalez has had an option on this play to run the post or the corner. They used to call it Poco in Kansas City. He's going to push up the field and read the middle of the defense. If no one's in the post, he's going to take it. Ball's a little high. Still one of the premier red zone targets to ever play football.
Had to be high because of Vilma.
Excellent buzz by Jonathan Vilma. Forced the air and throw to go high.
Screen set up for Sneller. It was erased on a good read by Ramon Humber, third-year guy out of North Dakota State, as they sprinkle in some other linebackers.
Well, it's the strength of this Saints defense. It's the multiplicity of all the looks. It's also the weakness, if there is one, of this defense. They do make mistakes. And the interesting part of this game is how multiple the Falcons are. So you put all those three things together, we'll see what gives.
Needing to get to the 11. The rush is 4. Ryan's throw is a touchdown for Julio Jones.
Well, you can't throw the football any better than Matt Ryan. Just stroked that into the Julio Jones. Little four-man rush, coverage base scheme by the Saints. At the top of the drop, Matt Ryan saw that little seam. Here's Matt as he sets up in the pocket. He's looking right down the hole. He sees that seam. Look at the route by Julio Jones, and look at the throw.
Well, if you let Julio Jones get down the seam uncontested, he's going to hurt you. Nobody contesting Julio Jones. It looked like the Saints were late lining up. Great throw by Matt Ryan, and Julio Jones stays hot.
And Bosher, the punter, holds it from Matt Bryant. 3 drives, 3 scores. How about that 8-play, 72-yard answer?
And they finished, Mike.
That's right, with the touchdown. Ryan to Jones, 4th time in the last 3 weeks for them. Draft day and draft night, when the Falcons traded up to get Julio Jones, the rookie out of Alabama, with the 6th overall pick. He gets the touchdown.
Well, there's confusion. Look at the Saints on defense. Julio Jones is on the left. No one slides over to reroute him, and Julio runs clean down the seam. And Matt Ryan is good enough with a 6'4" stallion like Julio Jones to hurt you real bad if you don't get some reroute or get your hands on a big receiver like that. You're in trouble, Ron.
Yeah, but how about that throw, John?
Great
throw. QB's love.
Bosher kicks it. 3 yards short, picked up by Sproul. They get taken down to the 20-yard line. Brees, who needed 3:05 coming in to break the Marino record, 49 yards on that opening drive. We mentioned in Monday Night Countdown, this is the defense that has done a good job against Brees and the Saints offense in general over the last couple of seasons, Ron.
Familiarity. You know, these teams play each other twice a year. They know each other so well. It's hard to trick them.
First down throw. Screen set up for Jimmy Graham. And Jimmy Graham's got a first down at the 36. He gained 17.
How many screen passes do the Saints have? You know, one of the things that's hard to defend, maybe the hardest thing to defend, is when you rush the passer to get to Drew Brees, they're vulnerable to the screen pass. And they'll throw screens to tight ends, fullbacks, wide receivers, and halfbacks. It's hard to rush the passer because of their screen game. If Sean Payton sees these guys getting after Brees, he'll run an array of different screen passes.
Sproles is now the back. And a carry for Garrett around the left edge. Thomas Davis comes off the safety spot to make the stop at the 43-yard line.
Well, Mike Smith told us that his Atlanta Falcon front seven is going to have to play the best game of the year to win this football game. And what I heard when he said that is we're going to play a lot of double zone. We're going to do the best we can to stop the pass and see if our front seven can hold up against the run. So far, that hasn't happened.
Saints get one more play here before the end of the first. Chris Ivory up the middle. Pass pounded Ivory. It's a Falcon territory with a first down. Any kind of good football in that corner? We could very well end up seeing these two teams in a playoff game in a couple of weeks. And if we do, and for the rest of tonight, that bodes well for football fans. That was good quality football, especially on the offensive end in that first quarter.
That was exciting offensive football right there. Two tremendous quarterbacks at the top of their game.
252 yards, one flag, no turnovers, no punts. Second quarter begins in Falcon territory. Brees with time. Incomplete through the hands of Dominique Franks, who's playing the nickel tonight because Kelvin Hayden is out again with a toe injury.
You know, one of the things the Saints do in this no-back offense is they put Darren Sproles in a one-by-one alignment and watch him chip the defensive end before he releases. That really helps the right tackle, Zach Street, handle a speed rush. They do that 12 to 15 times a game, and they do it well.
This is one of their shot play formations with only one wide receiver on the field, a couple tight ends, a couple backs.
Run it this time, Ryan. Chris Ivory is stopped by Curtis Lofton and John Abraham for a loss of a couple of yards. We're going to have 3rd and 12 coming up.
Curtis Lofton, leading tackler, 3 straight years, team captain. Couldn't wait to play in this game. Watch number 50. He's going to see the center block back. He sees Nick's pull. He stuffs Ivory for a loss of 2 yards.
And you like Lofton and Weatherspoon.
Oh, I like these guys a lot. They remind me of a young Briggs and Urlacher.
Wow, that says a lot right there, John. Good company.
3rd and a dozen. Not much pass rush yet from the Falcons. They bring 5. Franks gets there off the corner, but Brees steps up and gets the first down pass to Marcus Colston. That's what Brees does as well as anyone, moving up in the pocket.
Pocket awareness. I mean, this stuff you can't even coach. This is something that Drew Brees was born with. You'll see the pressure coming to his left. Just a subtle little move to open himself up to make the throw. And the thing that you really like about Drew Brees, when he moves, he always stays in position to throw the football. Well done.
First down, Brees. First and again, that's 9. Lofton with the tackle and a big hit. And a flag comes down with it from the back.
I don't know. Quick count. They throw a hook route to the big man, Marcus Colston, and they're going to get Lofton for spearing here. I don't know that I agree with this call.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 50 on the defense. Hit on the helpless receiver. After this, this will go. Automatic first down.
Take a look at Lofton, number 50. That's good football, if you ask me.
Yeah, I don't know what you do about that. Well, you got to tackle the guy.
I'd throw the ball every play if I were Drew Brees. That's a penalty. I mean, Lofton's entitled to play in the middle of the field.
They didn't say helmet to helmet, although that was the contact. They said defenseless receiver as he spun around and came down. First down in the red zone. Brees hit by Bierman as he throws. The pass is incomplete. Corey Bierman, the defensive end, coming off the bench with some pressure for Atlanta. We talked about a couple of passes ago that pocket awareness for Brees. Spoke to John Abraham about that earlier this week, and he said Brees, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Aaron Rodgers. Those are the 4 who are the gold standard at that pocket awareness, and it's so frustrating on a guy like Abraham who has 111 career sacks. Ivory up the middle. What a difference in this New Orleans team. The ability to just hammer it between the tackles on you.
And those attitude runs. You know, John called them imposing the will of the offensive line when you have a Carl Nix at 343, a Jari Evans at 318. I mean, these guys move the pile. And then you have a guy like Chris Ivory, who was the number 4 running back out his team, and he just hammers it up in there. And boy, they get those hard, tough yards by moving the pile. But this offensive line is road grader-like.
Tight end John Gilmore limping off for the Saints. Bringing their spread the field personnel on 3rd and 4. Brees. Posted. In for the touchdown.
Oh, it's just great location. A quick stick out route by Marcus Colston. Saints use a lot of deception in their shotgun pass protection. Looked like they caught the Falcons napping there.
You'll see a very accurate throw by Drew Brees. Right on the break, right on the numbers, allowing Marcus Colston to turn up the field because that ball is outside. And clearly, Franks could not get to him. We'll see if he's in the end zone before the knee goes down. Certainly looks good.
Confirmed upstairs. Jaws, and the extra point added by John Casey. So another game with a Drew Brees touchdown. 42 in a row. 4 possessions, 4 scores, 4-point lead. Record pursuits part of the story. 5 away from equaling Johnny Unitas' record for consecutive games with a touchdown pass at 47. And Brees tonight up to 97 passing yards. So he needs 208 to break Dan Marino's single-season record, and doing it in 1 fewer game, albeit with more liberal passing rule. Morstead kicks from the 35. At the same time, put the ball at the 20 when he's got it on the team. How good was the first game between these teams? Remember, 26-23. In overtime, the Saints win. They stopped Atlanta 4th and 1. Their own 29. Greg Williams pretty fired up about that.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Smith didn't want to give the ball to Drew Brees a second time in overtime. It was discussed throughout Atlanta. Understandably so. So rare that a coach goes for it in his own territory in overtime, and it was on their second drive. But both coaches say these are the kind of games, so close, so well known each other. You got to roll the dice and break the pattern to give yourself a shot. From the 20, it's Michael Turner. That's run by Turner. Gains a half dozen. And what did that do for both teams, that game, and what happened in the overtime?
Well, it certainly gave the New Orleans Saints a lot of confidence, and those are one of those things that a coach can build on. Hey, you know what? We stopped them at a critical time in the game. That'll be mentioned throughout the season.
Well, it was 4th and inches. It wasn't 4th and 1. I think it did a lot for the Falcons because they know their head football coach is going to do anything he thinks he has to do to win the game. And I think his team supported him. They've won 7 out of 9 themselves.
Yeah, they had success in that game earlier on 4th and short, John.
Here's Turner. He does such a good job bringing it back as the flow goes to the right, to the left. Yard shy of the first down.
Watch Michael Turner press this to the right side and then cut it back. It's zone blocking. He's going to start to his right and cut it back to his left. Good vision, breaks 1 tackle, moves the pile, sets up another 3rd down and a little bit less than a yard. We just covered this situation.
Yeah, we did. Very similar. Same spot on the field.
Give it to Turner again. Make your point.
Extra lineman in, Sam Baker. Offensive tackle, Atlanta. And they'll throw here on 3rd and 1. Julio Jones was covered. Ryan comes back to his second receiver, and a shot in the back does not allow Reggie Kelly to catch the ball, and he's injured.
Well, Reggie Kelly is not in there to catch passes.
Just in the square of the back, Malcolm Jenkins.
I don't know what the difference in this hit.
Just thinking the same
thing.
thing.
One on Lofton was. Right. If Lofton's penalty was 15 yards, and that's 15 yards. I just don't understand how games are being officiated. Hope Kelly's all right.
And how teams have to play defensively when they play zone defense in situations, how they try to break it up.
Yeah, I don't think you can play zone defense like you used to. I think you've got to play more man-to-man, matchup coverages, because all of these hits are occurring, for the most part, in zone defenses.
Nice job by the Saints fans, giving Kelly a round of applause as he got up. Darren Sproles goes back for the first punt of the evening. Rookie out of Miami, 6th-round pick, Matt Bosher to kick. Sproles fair catch signal. The kick is 46. The Saints will take over just past the 25-yard line. Brees back on the field. Hasn't been stopped in 2 drives tonight. Touchdown. This New Orleans offense started at its own 16, its own 19. This drive starts at 26. Nobody open, and Brees thrown down by Vance Walker. Brees wants a penalty for Walker tackling him by the helmet, but no call on the 3rd-year man from Georgia Tech.
That's one way to stop the passing game. You have to get pressure on Drew Brees. That time Vance Walker does a nice job beating Jari Evans, the right guard.
Had Drew around the neck.
You can do that.
Sack number 2 for Walker on a career. Had one against Houston earlier this season. There's a pass to Devery Henderson to the 25-yard line.
Watch how the Saints do it. Whoever touches the ball immediately gives it to the referee so he can spot it. And then they're going to use massive substitutions on every snap. And Drew Brees gets in and out of the huddle before Van Gorder, the defensive coordinator of the Falcons, has any idea who's in the game. They mask their substitutions, and here they go with plenty of time for Drew Brees to survey the defense and get them in an optimum situation.
And on 3rd and 11, it's Brees firing complete and for the first down, and Marcus Colston.
First down, here they come again. Watch the sidelines. Here comes Pierre Thomas, John Gilmore. Referee spotting the ball. There goes Sproles and Lance Moore. Brees gets him in the huddle. He's going to quickly call this play and get up to the line of scrimmage. And the Atlanta Falcons don't know if they should go to base. Here they come with a substitution themselves. It's snap after snap of relentless attacking with Drew Brees, Sean Payton, and this complex offense they run.
And 90, Lawrence Sidbury's coming to the line going, what are we doing? What are we in here defensively? Here's Thomas with the run for a gain of a yard. John, I see people substitute all the time in the NFL and bring in personnel packages. Why is it unique with how New Orleans does it?
Well, they have a lot of good players that come in and out. Some of them are great. But my point to you, Mike, is they might stay in the same personnel. They might take out Pierre Thomas and bring in Sproles. They might take out the tight end Graham and bring in Gilmore. They might bring out Devery Henderson and bring in Meacham. And if you're a coach for the Atlanta Falcons or an opposing coach, you don't know what they're in. So you have to reduce your calls, and you can see that the Falcons are late lining up a lot, just like everybody else that plays this team.
Another function of this offense, tight splits, as you see there. And they spread out, and Brees gets it to Lance Moore. Inside the 45, and Moore's got a first down. Gain of 15.
We could talk about Drew Brees all night long, how you play the position, how you move in the pocket, how you uncover as a quarterback to allow your wide receivers to uncover. By a little time. One thing about Drew Brees, he knows where everybody is. By the time he gets to the top of that drop and snaps his head around, he has surveyed the field and knows where to go with the football. That is precision in the passing game.
We mentioned Moore missed some practice time during the week. He went down kind of suddenly there. He's on the sideline.
Take a shot here.
Ready, Mike, 50. I'm ready for second.
Meets him up at the top. They'll run Ivory to the right. With a flag down, he's down at the line of scrimmage. Decoded by Thomas Deku at a Cal safety.
Holding number 64 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
SportsCenter right now, Trey Wingo.
Well, thank you. The good news here, the Vikings expect Adrian Peterson back on the field early next season, but he's going to have surgery in 7 to 10 days to repair the torn ACL and MCL in his left knee. Meanwhile, Tony Romo's bruised hand, not a concern for the Cowboys, who expect to have their QB ready to start in the NFC title matchup Sunday night. One game to win that division, guys. Back to you.
Yep, the East Championship on the line. That's the final of the 6 teams to be determined for the playoffs. Falcons and the Lions got in yesterday. Screen, Sproles. Up the numbers goes Sproles to the 42-yard line. Gain of 13.
Well, he comes across the formation. And watch Nix. Watch the center, De La Puente, get out on the perimeter as Sproles slides underneath Drew Brees for this reception. That's just great execution. Right down the numbers. Darren Sproles, over 2,000 yards of all-purpose yardage 4 years in a row. What an acquisition for this Saint offense.
Brees needs 160 yards for the record. Almost halfway there. High and deflected. Good contest by Brent Grimes. And incomplete.
You know, the Saints are so good in that screen game because they do get the ball down the field. And, you know, if you're not a defensive lineman, you've got to get the pressure on Drew Brees. So you're working hard to get the Brees. And he plays that game with you, you know. He sets, and then he drifts back and draws the defense to you. He really has an outstanding feel for how to manipulate the defenses with the screen pass.
Big play for the Falcons D, 3rd and 7.
They need Abraham at the top of the screen to get something done here.
From the 42, Abraham got chipped. Brees has time. First down inside the 20 to Colston. What a big game Marcus Colston's having here in the first half. 5 receptions.
Just like Sean Payton told us, one of the best things they do on 3rd down is get help to their tackles. And Sproles does an excellent job making Abraham get restarted. It just helps the right tackle, Zach Strief, and another beautiful touch throw to Marcus Colston, who has had a great year against the Atlanta Falcons. Big game up there in Atlanta. He's off to another great start tonight.
You see the red zone story. 2 for 2 tonight. Brees back in there again. Over the middle. Arriving with the ball was William Moore, and a pass intended for Devery Henderson, incomplete.
You talk about decisive, Jaws.
Yeah.
Hey, Drew Brees in the red zone. Hey. He sees something he likes. He has the confidence to let it rip. Watch this throw, the timing, the anticipation, and the location. Will Moore makes a great play, but understand this, if his timing isn't perfectly, that's another touchdown for the Saints. Great play by Moore, but
precision on offense.
It really is.
Real simple. Precision.
15. Ready, what's up?
Show the pass, and they will run with Pierre Thomas. Deku makes a nice play to keep him from getting away to the 14-yard line for 3rd and 5 coming up. This is drive 3 for Sean Payton's offense. He and Pete Carmichael collaborating on the play calling since Payton injured his knee 10 weeks ago. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, and this another lengthy drive down the field.
We talk about the passing game, the running game, the screen game, then they sneak the draw in on you and pick up another 5 yards. They have every component on offense you have to have.
Sproles at the back on 3rd and 5. Brees goes towards Sproles, but a flag is down. I don't know if he would have caught that ball as Sean Weatherspoon got a hand on it. Abraham was coming in, made Brees get rid of it quick. Weatherspoon got to the receiver a half second too soon.
Pass interference, defense, number 56. First down.
Well, it's all go special, and you're going to see a little burst route right here by Sproles. Let's see if Witherspoon got there early. It's like he's got his right arm draped around Sproles' right shoulder. I think it's a good call.
That's one of those matchups we talked about. You get Sproles and a linebacker. Tough coverage.
So first down at the 12. Brees up top. Jimmy Graham has it knocked out, and it's intercepted. Dominique Franks comes down with a knee as it was deflected toward the back line. William Moore got it. We have to see if Moore was inbounds when he made contact with the ball at the back line.
Great play by Lofton.
Lofton had the coverage. Moore was there. That's it while he's inbounds. Interception, Franks. Red zone turnover, New Orleans. Of course, this week between Christmas and New Year's, great bowl action. Thursday doubleheader. Florida State, Notre Dame. They're sold out in Orlando for the Champs Sports Bowl. Then you'll see the Heisman Trophy winner, Robert Griffin III, RG3, and Baylor taking on Washington in the Valero Alamo Bowl. Some good bowl action throughout the week. And, of course, the BCS, the Bowl Championship Series games, starting with the Rose Bowl 1 week from today. You'll see them all here on ESPN. After the turnover, first down for Matt Ryan. Downfield cover, Michael Turner leaking out. First down, Turner at the 31, gain of 11.
Take a look at Curtis Lofton. He's going to carry Graham down the post right here and wheel around and make a great play at the last second. Ball's thrown high and almost perfect by Brees, but Curtis Lofton is the kind of linebacker that can play on any down. Even against these no-back formations, he appears comfortable.
Man, how about William Moore keeping that ball alive? Pretty impressive defense by the Falcons.
Here goes Atlanta into a mode that Matt Ryan told us this week he loves.
No huddle.
The 31 Ryan. That's complete to Roddy White, one of the top pass catchers in the NFL. Third in receptions this year. First down, a gain of 11.
Well, this no huddle that the Falcons run is a little different. They can regulate the defense. They use a lot of different formations. They will substitute. They'll change the snap count. And Matt Ryan loves this part of the offense in his 4th year. There's an audible right now.
4 wide receivers on the field and Tony Gonzalez in a tight slot. That's an attack mode.
On first down with a rush of 3, Ryan still gets his arm hit as he tries to throw. Junior Gillette out of Stillman College, went to Temple before that, has really made an impact as a pass rusher this year.
Well, you're going to see him at the bottom of the screen. Go get Tyson Clabo, beats him easily to the outside. Gets a piece of Matt Ryan. They need Gillette to be a force opposite Will Smith. They need some more pass rush from these defensive linemen in New Orleans.
Well, what a chess match right here. Matt Ryan, Jonathan Vilma.
Ryan's throw is incomplete. Contact with Julio Jones as he made his break. No flag, and we'll have third down coming up to 3.5 until the half.
Well, Matt Ryan just identified the single coverage right there, but Julio Jones got to get those hands out, make that grab. Do not allow the defender to come to you. Look, I love that chess match. You see Vilma in there. You see Matt Ryan. Who's going to out-check each other because they're both checking at the line of scrimmage.
Timeout, Atlanta. First timeout taken in the half.
The Wolverines are looking to reclaim their spot as one of the nation's top programs, while the Hokies are out to make a statement against one of the Big Ten's elites.
This place always known for the noise supporting the home team. It impacts the road offense, but also impacts the home defense. So nonverbal communication important for them as well. Third down. Quick count. Ryan's got time. Ryan's got the sideline and a first down. The flag down, Harry Douglas. 13 if it stands, but a flag back by the blocking for Ryan.
Holding, number 22 in the offense. Still third down.
5'6" rookie Jaquiz Rogers trying to help protect the quarterback.
Boy, that's a killer right there because Matt Ryan threw a laser to the sideline to get the first down. But you're right, Mike. At 5'6", 196-pound, the rookie has a tough matchup right here. You'll see number 22 right there on the edge of the offensive line. Oh, he just makes a tackle right there on Humber. You're going to get that called every time. That's a big penalty against the Falcons.
Third and 20. They need to get all the way to the 48. Ryan goes underneath. See if Roddy White can do it. Jonathan Vilma erases it. Fourth down.
You know, penalties have hurt Atlanta tonight. And under Mike Smith, since he's come to Atlanta, this is the fewest penalized team in football. They've had some big ones so far in this first half. And that last one on Rodgers really hurt him to nullify a first down.
And the last thing you want to do is give Drew Brees the ball back in that 2-minute drill.
Second time punting for Bosher, the rookie. Sproles back deep. Good hang time on this one. He's going to let it go all the way. So it's 56 on the kick. A net of 36, not as good. Saints take over. So Brees chasing this record that started with Sammy Baugh, and then Johnny Unitas 13 years later took it over 3,000. Jurgensen the next year broke it. Joe Namath the first over the 4,000 milestone, and stood for over a decade until Hall of Famer Dan Fouts broke it 3 consecutive years. And then Marino went over that mark in the Monday night finale at the Orange Bowl in 1984. And the record has stood for 27 years since. Obviously, with the rules that we were discussing in the first half, passing has become more friendly to stats and systems. Brees trying to do it in 15 games here. Needs 137 to do it in his remaining 6+ quarters of this year. Brees taking a shot downfield. Great coverage on the pass intended for Meacham. It was broken up by Brent Grimes, whose knee being tested out looks okay.
Yeah, and Brent Grimes is a guy that the Atlanta Falcons are really glad to have back.
Watch this left guard, Carl Nix, save the day. As Abraham goes inside, he's going to beat Bushrod. Watch Carl Nix come out of nowhere and save his quarterback. That's just good left guard play. Finishing through the whistle. And Abraham has been nudged a lot. You can see him now working his inside move. Good help by Nix.
It's a 2nd and 10 into Darren Sproles' run. He's going to gain about 5 years. We get to the 2-minute warning. Don't see an important part of this offense. Lance Moore re-injured his hamstring on a catch he made on the last drive. He hasn't been back. Susie Colbert on the sideline says officially questionable, but not looking good for Moore back in the lineup. To come on man of the year coming up at halftime. Congratulations to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. The conversation after Rodgers lost that one game, is Brees the MVP this year? Well, Rodgers reminded you what a great season he's had. 5 more touchdown passes last night. 45 on the season. With just 6 picks. This is 3rd and 5. Brees looking for space. Abraham almost had him. Brees kept the play alive and got a first down with Meacham. For 35, gain of 10.
I don't know what you can say about Drew Brees. You know, his pocket awareness, pocket mobility, just sees the field so well. His primary receivers are covered. He moves around, buys a little time. It's ridiculous what he does in that pocket to find people. It's clinical.
Right 5-6. Hard. Hey, easy. Special. 23 paint. Like 50. Ready. Ready. Play shot.
Here's the change of the play by Brees. He takes his shot. Broken up. A good chance for Colston to come away with a catch, but legally done by Deku. No flag and incomplete.
That's a great range play by Deku. Brees saw a 3 deep zone, and he's sending 3 verticals right down the seam. Great break by Deku to prevent a big play. The Saints love to throw the ball down the field into the seams, and I know Mike Smith wants his defense to get off here. Their lack of ability to get off the field in a 2-minute drill earlier this season cost them the football game, according to Mike Smith.
Run on 2nd and 10. They've got other timeouts. Sproles run up the middle, gains a couple, and timeout taken here by New Orleans with 70 seconds left in the half. And John, to your point, if you look at the NFL this season, 71% of the teams that score in the last 2 minutes of the first half go on to win the game. And Mike Smith emphasizing to us this weekend how important this stretch of the game is against everyone, but especially Brees and the Saints.
Yeah, he really emphasized 3 situations to beat the Saints. Do not give up points in a 2-minute drill. He made himself perfectly clear. Win on 3rd down. They haven't done that particularly well tonight. And win in the red zone. They just got the key interception by Will Moore earlier. But those 3 areas, 2-minute, 3rd down, and red zone defense, and most coaches I'm sure feel the same way. But you don't want to give these Saints anything before the break.
Yeah, Brees has smoked them on 3rd down. 4 for 4, 55 yards, 4 first downs.
Need to get to the 45 to pick up this one.
Hey, easy.
Well, Saints went to call timeout, but they have just called timeout here. That's back-to-back timeouts if New Orleans takes it, so they're not going to give it to them and give them a delay of game flag.
Offense, number 9. It's a 5-yard penalty. It'll still be 3rd down. New Orleans had already called a timeout. They are not allowed to call consecutive timeouts.
As we told you, so it's 3rd and 12.
That's a rare mistake by Brees.
Very rare.
And it's a critical 3rd and long. This is an area, this window, this 3rd and extra long is the one area on 3rd down where Atlanta has really struggled.
Saints have made 3rd and 11 and 3rd and 12 already tonight. Brees flips the ball, loads it downfield for Meacham, who caught it at the 26-yard line. Down there, back down at 26.
Well, there's no pass rush whatsoever. And it's a predictable 2-deep zone. And if you get no pass rush, good chance you're going to get hurt. You're going to see an outside release down here at the bottom of the screen.
And they're going to go quick and kill the clock with a spike.
rush.
They kill the clock with a spike, John, with 41 seconds left. As opposed to taking one of those 2 timeouts at the 27-yard line.
But you know, there's windows on 3rd down that coaches prepare for. 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 to 4. 3rd and 6 to 10, and 3rd and extra long. And that extra long window has really been disappointing from this Falcon defense. That's an area you should get off routinely. Costly breakdown right there. 3rd and 12 by the Falcon defense.
Pass rush down. John, that's where they got to show up. John Abraham needs to make a play.
From the 27, Brees. Caught by Colston. Good hit in the open field, gain of only 2. New Orleans will stop it at 35 seconds with Brent Grimes making the tackle.
They need Grimes for this playoff push. That's an excellent job. Earlier, he got muscled at the point of attack in a tackling situation. That time, he did a nice job getting out of his pedal and making a nice open field hit.
Well, Brees now 221 passing yards. That big one to Colston just a moment ago, working him down here into scoring position with 35 seconds left before halftime.
And it's another 3rd and long. And just listen to Drew Brees work before the ball is snapped. He's 5 for 5 on 3rd down tonight, but he's going to do everything he can to recognize the coverage, the potential of blitz, and get the Saints in a perfect play. Just watch him work before the ball snaps.
Pass to Meacham, put him over 5,000 yards. It's 3rd and 8. And they'll run on 3rd and 8 with Sproles up the middle for the 1st down to the 10-yard line. 30 seconds, 1 timeout, and taken from the sideline by Sean Payton.
Study call, predictable Falcons zone defense, soft box. Just a quick give from the shotgun to Darren Sproles, and he just disappears. Watch him just hit this play right off the right side. One back trap, beautiful execution. You get in these long yardage situations, Atlanta's all spread out playing maximum zone coverages. Hand the ball to a dart like Darren Sproles, big 1st down.
And Carl Nix coming around on that trap block. Another beautiful block by Nix. And I'll tell you, every dimension you can want on offense, the Saints have it.
There you see Sproles' numbers, what an impact he's had in that Reggie Bush role. He's even expanded it. They've made all 8 of their 3rd downs tonight. Sproles is at the bottom of the screen, split wide. Brees loves Graham down here. Brees for Graham down here. Touchdown, New Orleans. And another slam dunk.
Mike Tirico must be calling the plays. He knows. Jimmy Graham down there, match against Brent Grimes. That's a size mismatch.
Once again, it's all Drew Brees in the pocket. He escapes. He gives Graham time to uncover. And as you said, that's why point guards don't cover power forwards. Look at him get up. 10 touchdowns. He's just starting to play the position.
Yeah, 6'6" against 5'10". Good advantage.
21-10. Much discussed, no high school football, one season of college, very difficult background as he was brought up in a variety of areas, but a physical specimen that really makes an impact on the game. You talk about the unique size of Graham at 6'6". Take the measurables, the arm length 35 inches, the vertical 38.5. Da Vinci doing the science here. That means the hand size proportional to an 8-foot person. And he runs 4.56 with his 40. Okay, so Brees has a target who can get a hand more than a foot above a basketball rim, and we've seen that with his basketball prowess. And within 2 seconds, he can get a ball anywhere the size of a railroad car because of the speed and the reach and the quickness and his ability. And using those basketball skills to go up and snatch the ball for a touchdown. And when I spoke to Tony Gonzalez, who's kind of the godfather of these basketball to football tight ends, he said, think about basketball. Everything you do when you go up and get a rebound is up outside of your body frame. And you've seen that touchdown after touchdown with Gonzalez over the years and Graham 10 times this year.
Yeah, but I tried out some basketball players that couldn't do that. He's just a rare human being. Not every basketball player can do what Jimmy Graham's doing. He's going to Hawaii in the Pro Bowl.
And the passing yardage has Brees within 75 of the record of Marino. Touchback and no return.
You know, all these tight ends, they got a basketball background. I want to show you Tony Gonzalez. He goes to Cal. He takes his team in deep into the NCAA tournament. Look at him get up, Mike, like you were talking about. Faking guys, body control, soft touch. I mean, this is Jimmy Graham now. He had more fouls than field goals, and some of his fouls were just downright nasty. Watch this poor guy go to the basket. Oh, just reject him. I mean, Jimmy Graham wasn't a 25-point game guy. He was a hatchet man. This guy's a great football player. Heals a lot.
New Orleans gets the ball to start the second half. Down 11, 2 timeouts, 22 seconds. The Falcons run Turner for 5 and take a timeout here with 18 seconds remaining. So you talk about the red zone and what happens down there. New Orleans has scored 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. The Falcons got an early field goal in Jaws, as you said, against this guy's offense in this dome. You can't afford to come away with field goals, and now it's put them a 2-score deficit.
Now, there's no question. The red zone in the NFL is critical. Critical. A lot of teams move the ball up and down the field, but you must be efficient when you get in that scoring area of the field. That's why even a lot of teams take their shots now. They call it that go zone. Just get around the 50-yard line. They know how tough it is to score inside the 20s. They take their shots further away.
Second and 5. The rush is 3. Ryan has to check it down. It's only going to be right at the first down mark, just shy with Snelling, and a final timeout taken with 10 seconds left. Let's look at the spot there. All it has to do is touch the 30 for a first down, and it is just short. 10 seconds, no timeouts left. So the Brees numbers in the first half, 15 of 25, 230 yards. The game is much more meaning for the playoff implications of the moment for Smith's team and for the Saints as well. But Brees now closing in on that Marino mark, 75 yards away, or 1 drive, and the Saints get the ball to start the third quarter.
And don't leave, folks, because this is going to be special. This is Dan Marino's record that has stood for 27 years. Pretty special what Danny did.
No timeouts, 10 seconds for Atlanta. Ryan is going to take a shot down the sideline. It's well covered. Julio Jones try to go up and get it. It's incomplete. We'll have 2 seconds left, and the Falcons will be forced to punt. Just 1 point, going back to that odd play we had in the first half, Atlanta may not punt. They may just run around for a couple of seconds, take a knee, and kill the clock, and I think it's what they're going to do. You know, Drew Brees called that extra timeout, trying to call back-to-back. They didn't get to delay a game. It'd be interesting if you ever look at that at the competition committee level and take the timeout away from a team. Don't give them the time, but take it away. Why should you get to keep it if you made a mistake? And that timeout allowed them to run down there with Sproles on 3rd and 8, pick up the first down. And Ryan just has to run around here for a couple of seconds. Hurts the stats, but it gets to 0-0 and sends us to the half. Saints, 30 minutes from winning the South. Drew Brees, 75 yards from Marino's record. They get the ball to start the second half. Here's Chris with the Toyota halftime show. Inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome here in New Orleans as Drew Brees is on the precipice of NFL history, trying to break Dan Marino's record, most passing yards in the season, needing 75 to do it. He and the Saints will get the ball to start this third quarter, leading 21-10. And if they hold on to this lead here in the second half, the Saints will win the South for the second time in 3 years and guarantee a home playoff game in front of these passionate, wild, and loud fans in New Orleans. What a road it's been for Brees from Austin, Texas, went to Purdue. A lot of folks thought he was too small. Joe Tiller's basketball on grass, passing offense, he thrived there. Went to the Chargers and had success. San Diego then had a quarterback of their own in Phillip Rivers. They had to make a decision. They decided to go with Rivers. Brees injured his shoulder the very last game of that regular season with the Chargers. As a free agent with a bump shoulder, was looking for a home in New Orleans. Said, come on down. And they're making history ever since. Garrett Sproles, the return, just over the 20.
Mike, I was very impressed with Drew Brees, moving around in the pocket in that first half. As we talk to defensive guys around the league, whenever we get the Saints, they talk about getting Brees off his spot, off the launch point, make him move around. That's how you break it down. Well, you can see that didn't work in the first half. They forced Brees to get off his spot. He moved, reset, was very accurate with his throws. For all you young quarterbacks out there, watch Drew Brees. You'll learn an awful lot how to move and stay in a position to throw the football.
So history can happen on any play in this half. A run on a first down for Pierre Thomas is to the 28-yard line. Here's Susie Culber on the sideline. Suze?
Well, Mike, just 75 yards away, I asked Sean Payton, you guys are just human. Was it discussed at halftime? He said, no, absolutely not. It's all about the game. He said, I don't even think 5, 10 guys in this locker room even know that we're that close. He loves the team's intensity so far. He said, but we're nicked up. We've got to overcome that. Lance Moore will not be back. John Gilmore may not be back. As for Mike Smith, he said, our defense is not handling the tempo. We've got to pick that up or this will be over.
Down a receiver and a tight end, New Orleans, and Brees. The 28, there it is over the middle of Jeffrey Henderson to the 41. It's a first down pickup of a dozen. So let's look at the stats of the first half. The Saints dominating because they kept the ball away from Atlanta. They kept making third down after third down. They made them all 8. And 3 of them were long pickups. In the red zone, 4 times down there, 3 touchdowns.
8 for 8 on third down, and I'm 3rd and 12, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 11, 8 for 8. They're close to 60% on third down for the season. That's unheard of.
Ready, what's up?
On first down, play action. Brees looks for the shot, takes the shot downfield, and it is deflected and intercepted. Can still get up and run. And there goes Dante Robinson. Tackled to the 30 by the fullback, Jed Collins. So Brees taking the shot downfield, but Robinson, the corner in coverage, comes up with the interception. The second one thrown by Brees, and a big play for Atlanta. Down 11, getting the ball back. After the interception, second of the year by Dante Robinson. It's a big drive for the Falcons, trying to make it a one-score game, down 11. And Matt Ryan will get to the air on first down. Goes back to his last option out of the backfield, Michael Turner. And it's a gain of 6. So 2 picks for the Falcons here tonight. Brees had not been intercepted in his last 5 games. The Falcons continue their success of turning people over away from the Georgia Dome.
Now it's important, obviously, that Atlanta gets right back in his football game with a score. And don't forget about Michael Turner. Hasn't carried the ball much lately.
8 carries, 30 yards. Most of those coming early in that first half. 1 yard, Cameron Jordan, the rookie, who has only been in on 22 solo tackles, not the performance and productivity of the 24th overall pick in the draft. Able to get the stop there and force third down.
Yeah, this Saints defense, they got Roman Harper as a safety. He plays down in that box, and he's having a tremendous season. 104 tackles, 7.5 sacks. This is a safety that's playing really, really good. Quickly down the box. Greg Williams likes to get him down there and making plays in the run game.
On 3rd and 3, here comes the pressure. Ryan hit as he throws, and the pass is incomplete. Junior Gallette's pressure again.
Well, it's a blitz. The top of the screen, and it's one-on-one for Junior Gallette again, who beats Vitek. That's what happens when you overload one side and the protecting back Snelling has to pick up a blitz. You create some one-on-ones, and that's the second time we've seen Junior Gallette win tonight.
You saw Matt Ryan grabbing his right arm where he got hit by Gallette, so another punt for Bosher. The interception doesn't cost the Saints anything. Good job by their defense. This one will take a friendly bounce for Bosher. It'll be 49 yards on the punt, and the Saints will take over at the 14. 63 yards away.
It's the granddaddy of them all. Monty Ball leads the Big Ten champs into Pasadena to take on
the final Monday night game of 1984 when Marino set the mark. And we use the word mark on purpose because of the Marx brothers. Mark Clayton, Mark Duper, part of the success. And Dan Marino talked about yesterday on the NFL Today on CBS about a word on the phone with his former receiving teammates and the great impact they had. And Drew Brees has been just as generous, spreading the great attention to his offensive line and his receivers. These are team accomplishments, these individual awards. Sproles left. First down and more. Darren Sproles. Out by midfield. Going to gain 36 on first down.
Well, it says sprint draw. You're going to see the left tackle, Bushrod, just bluff and then go get his linebacker, and Sproles just disappears. He is so quick and elusive in the open field. I just ask you guys, is there a better free agent acquisition this year than Darren Sproles?
Yeah, we've had the discussion. I throw out Jonathan Joseph, but I'm not going to argue with you.
We go the Saints over 100 yards in this dome on the ground again. 10 in a row. And Ivory hurdling the would-be tackler to get 6 at the 44. So Sproles gets a break, and that package of violence comes at you.
Well, what they're saying is, let's hand the ball to a big back. Let's not block the corner. And you can see him just hurdle Brent Grimes. This is not a backup football player filling in for Mark Ingram. This is a man that led the Saints in rushing last year. If I were Ingram, I might hurry up and get back in a lineup.
Ingram missing his 3rd consecutive game. From the 44, Brees complete for 3 yards to Pierre Thomas, who is the leading rusher in 08 and 09.
Well, what you now see out of the Saints, how they can be methodical. You know, we think of them as a big play action, explosive plays, but they can run the football. They can throw the possession passes after. They can just wear you down on that defensive side of the football. Boy, all the weapons that Drew has at his disposal. Fun playing quarterback this offense.
And the personnel substitutions just keep on coming. Here comes Chris Ivory. He'll accept this 3rd down and short carry, I would expect. He's replacing Ingram, their short yardage back. Let's see if it's Ivory.
You ready? What's up?
Collins, the fullback, comes in to block and just quickly out to Graham for the first down. At a gain of 5.
He's 9 for 9 on 3rd down, Mike. I mean, it's 3rd down and 1. You're going to run the ball to Ivory, and they give Drew Brees the freedom, if he sees a loaded box, to just pick it up and flip it out there to Jimmy Graham.
They make that 3rd and short via the air. They've also made 3 3rd and 10 or more. They've had 3rd and 11 and 3rd and 12 a couple of times. Part of this perfect conversion night on 3rd down. And it's a first down run. Thomas to the left. Got a very nice block from Devry Henderson. So the wide receivers don't only catch it, they help block as well. Another first down.
I'm glad you said that, Mike. This Devry Henderson, this Meacham. You're going to see the ball handed right here to Pierre Thomas. It's well blocked, but the little things these Saints do. This is an assembly line here in New Orleans. Everybody goes to work every day, Jaws. They're loyal, hard-working men, and they go work. And they don't care who gets the credit. But I love to see guys like Devery Henderson drop a house, block it.
Ready, what's up?
24, Brees, moves in the pocket, fires, end zone, touchdown! It's time, it's Mitra!
It's an assembly line.
That's what it was.
One well-trained American after another just going to work for this offense. The continuity, the precision, and at the end of the day, Drew Brees making plays. That's the fourth time he's escaped, Josh.
Just extends the play, has an amazing feel for where the pressure is coming from. Off the play action, he wants to get rid of the ball there, but Lawson's right in his face. Look at him just throw Meacham open. Well-executed play on play action tonight. Brees is once again red hot, 6 of 7, 110 yards and a touchdown.
This is fun being a statistician.
Yeah.
When you come to New Orleans, Mike. I like keeping track of these stats, these records that we're breaking tonight.
We need about 2 or 3 people keeping track of them.
Jeff Triplett waiting for confirmation from upstairs on the touchdown. With a thumbs up from the booth to confirm that it's a touchdown. They have it now. As the Saints fans give Drew Brees the Kobe Bryant treatment and chant MVP for a moment. Aaron Rodgers has thrown 45 touchdowns. Drew Brees now has 40. 3 on the night, and within 31 of the passing yardage record for a single season. Another touchdown, all 4 drives over 80 yards here. And it would guarantee a home playoff game here in the Superdome. New Orleans loses the tiebreaker to San Francisco because the 49ers have a better conference record. So the Niners control their fate for the 2 seed in this great turnaround season for Jim Harbaugh and the Niners. Another Morstead no return. It will be the 5th of the 7 Atlanta drives to start at their own 20. The weapon that is. As if these guys need more in their arsenal.
Like the pack.
For ESPN, ESPN 3. Watch ESPN. Online, on radio, we'll call the championship game. One of potentially 5 football games in this great building in 2 weeks. All-State Sugar Bowl, Virginia Tech, Michigan. Saints Panthers next week, and a potential Saints playoff game the weekend of that national championship game. Matt Ryan got to do something. There goes the former Alabama star. Julio Jones for 42 to 40.
Wow, tight split again by Julio Jones. He just runs right down the seam, and Matt Ryan throws another bullet right on the money. No huddle offense by the Falcons. Big explosive play and much needed.
And Jones starting to heat up a little bit. Seven-man box. They normally like to run the ball in these situations.
Ryan will give to Turner. And it's 4 from Michael, the former Charger, to the 36.
And Velma, middle linebacker for the Saints, is listening to every word Matt Ryan says. Look at him. He's going to communicate what he sees and what he thinks the Saints need to do to counter Matt Ryan. I love this.
Flag down as nobody hears it. And Ryan getting tied up, and his guard Joe Hawley takes offense to the extra shove on his quarterback.
Will Smith got off early there, number 91. We'll see.
False start. Number 74 in the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
It's Will Svitek on that left side as Will Smith was coming in. Will on Will.
Svitek has struggled tonight with Gillette and now Smith. And the crowd noise really helps the Saints here in this dome. And Will Smith, he loves playing in big games. That's when he's played his best football throughout his career for these Saints.
Falcons better give him those tackles some help.
And it's Tight splits on 2nd and 11. Ryan again. The release to Turner. 3-yard shy of the first down. Vilma, the tackle.
I think he's the key to this Saint defense. Since he's come back after missing a few games with that knee injury, he's ignited this football team. He's a true leader of this Saint defense. He's like a defensive coordinator on the field. He has incredible autonomy to take matters into his own hands as a player and as a decision maker.
Needing to get to the 30, it is Ryan. And Gonzalez boxes out, gets the first down. How many times that happened? A flag down back by the quarterback.
Eagle use the hands in the face. Number 77, the offense. 10-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
That's the other tackle, Tyson Claybo. So the tackles have struggled with the noise and the Saints here tonight.
Just unraveling for the Atlanta Falcons. You see the right tackle right there, Tyson Claybo. Hands right up in the face. You're going to call that every time. Good call.
Junior Gillette down in the 4-point stance. He continues to have an impact as a pass rusher. Undrafted speed rusher. Timeout on the sideline here. The officials stopping play for a moment.
How about this crowd here? We've got a band. I just saw Santa Claus run by, and we've got LSU Tiger fans waiting to get in here.
Yeah, what a festive atmosphere down here in New Orleans. They are into this game.
Did you say something? 3rd and 14. Ryan buying time. Has Julio Jones in the open field, taken down by Jabari Greer. 4th down. Let's see what they do on 4th and about 4.
Here comes Matt Bryant. They're going to kick this field goal, try to make it a 2-possession game. Matt Ryan showed some athletic ability himself there.
I'm not so sure about this call with the Falcons' inability to even slow down the Saints right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's a 51-yard field goal. Matt Bryant's had a great year. This is the ball game right here.
1 attempt, 1 make from over 50. This is 51. And curls in. Wow. Good kick by the 10-year man.
I'm with you, John.
28-13. There's been the problem. These guys get the ball again. Brees and the offense back on the field. Record in sight. The history Drew Brees could write in terms of all-time single-season passing yard record. 31 away. 2-score game. It's 15 now after the field goal by Brees.
Too many weapons.
Yeah, we're talking about all the weapons on offense. We forgot to mention Darren Sproles in the kickoff return and the punt return.
We haven't mentioned special teams at all. Morstead doesn't do anything but get touchbacks. And watch Darren Sproles right up the hash mark. Perfectly blocked all the way to the kicker. And Darren Sproles continues to chew up yardage. He's breaking all-purpose yardage records himself, Mike.
It is officially 92 yards. He started 6 yards deep. They even cheated him on this. They called him out of bounds at the 14. He really went out at the 12. As the officials trying to get down and catch up. But a lengthy return puts the Saints in the red zone to start the drive. And a gain of 2 on the run for Thomas to the 12-yard line. Darren Sproles, 227 yards total here tonight.
What a weapon. Every phase of the game, he flips the field for you. Running the football, coming to backwards receiver, kickoffs and punt returns. Valuable.
Yeah, the guy who leads the league in all-purpose yards the last 4 years now has over 2,500 on the season. In the 12, Brees gets it to Pierre Thomas. And this Falcons defense that has an interception in the second and the third quarter, but it's not been able to slow this team down. Comes up with a play on second down.
Well, it's another one of those screens, and they use Darren Sproles as a diversion as well as you could possibly use him. That time they bring Henderson in short motion. He cracks the defensive end. They fake a toss sweep to Sproles, throw a quick screen to number 23, the running back, Pierre Thomas. I'm dizzy.
Here we go. White 50. Ready. Ready. Play set.
They've made every third down, all 9 tonight. Brees hit that time as he throws, and finally they are able to get the Saints off the field on third down. A little bit of pass rush pressure and a field goal attempt coming for New Orleans. John Casey.
Look at Drew Brees. He is very angry at himself. He relishes being perfect. He wants every play to work, and every once in a while you got to give a defense a little bit of credit, Drew.
There's Casey. He's another record holder, Mike.
42-year-old John Casey.
He made in a row inside of 30 yards.
Doesn't miss these. 29-yarder. 109 in a row.
Yeah, try to make it.
Barely.
110 in a row.
From inside of 30. He's made 45 in a row, 40 and in. Amazing stuff. So the Saints take a 31-13 lead. They answer the Atlanta field goal with one of their own and are that much closer to winning this NFC South for the second time in 3 years. Their road to the 2 seed would be a win Sunday and a 49er loss. Again, the 49ers are playing the Rams, who are struggling as much as any team right now in the NFL. And if Atlanta comes back and rallies, Saints are still alive to win the South. They guarantee a home playoff game if they can close this here tonight.
Another weapon to talk about, Mike. You touched on it earlier, is this kickoff man they have for the Falcons. Bosher, he's a punter, or excuse me, for the Saints. Morstead. He's closing in on 60 touchbacks. He's their punter. He's one of the top net punters in football. I haven't seen Weems get a return yet. He was a Pro Bowl return man last year.
Weems only had the return after the penalty when Pierre Thomas pulled the bow out.
But this Morstead, how do you have 58 touchbacks in 1 year?
Well, they moved the yard line up 5 on the kickoffs.
Pay attention, John.
But but he still breaks the record for when it was there. Brad Dalluiso had it when the kickoff spot was at the 35, and he's broken that record with a couple of weeks left this season. 8 yards deep with some hang time, and Weems has to take it back, and yet another drive will start from the 20. Touchback number 5 on the night. So the Falcons, with a win, they would have kept their hopes for the South alive. That's looking less likely. So if they lose, they can't win, so they either be the 5 or the 6. They need to win and then have the Lions lose. The Detroit hasn't played well in Green Bay for a decade. But what will the Packers do? They've got nothing to play for. The number 1 seed is in the fridge in Green Bay. Do they rest Woodson? Do they rest Rodgers after a quarter or so? Does it give the Lions a chance to win and get the 5 seed? Because if Atlanta's the 6 and New Orleans is the 3, guess where you're coming in 2 weeks? Right back here. Ryan to throw. Roddy White couldn't hang on. Malcolm Jenkins buzzing down for coverage.
Well, this has been the problem that Roddy White has had all season long. Drop balls. He came into this game leading the NFL with 12 drops. That's number 13 right here off the play action. You'll see White in his in-breaking route. Ball right on his hands. You have to make that catch. And he's been targeted 155 times this season, the most of any wide receiver in the NFL. You see right now coming into the game, 12 drops. Add one of that, 13.
Tired.
Brings it back down to his other tight end, Michael Palmer. Collision with Vilma and Jolan Dunbar right at the first down mark at the 30.
You know, Mike, with an 18-point lead, this is where you want to see the Saints get after Matt Ryan with a 4-man rush. Don't do anything tricky, no big plays, nothing crazy. It's an obvious passing situation. You want to see Junior Galette get another pressure. Will Smith. But again, Greg Williams has gone to his 3-down package here, even in a short yardage situation.
It's 3rd and 1. They go quick with Ryan keeping it And having the first down, so they recognize the 3 up front to get the easy stuff.
And we know Greg Williams well enough. I mean, his Saints defense, they blitz more than any team in the league. And they have, what is that, 16 different personnel packages. I mean, they just are relentless in their pass rush, and they love to get after the quarterback. He doesn't ever play safe.
Greg likes to say back in his early football days, he played quarterback. Now he loves getting after them. Pass deflected. That movement up front brought no encroachment. So no flag.
I think that's Sean Rogers, number 92.
No flag was thrown. Matt Ryan's asking the same thing. It was an encroachment.
Sure was.
No flag.
That's why Matt just threw the ball out to the quick hitch on the outside. He thought he had a free play.
One thing the Saints have done in games this year, they've left receivers wide open at times, busted coverages, and big plays have been hit against them when that has happened. Number 31, Ryan. Comes Turner again out of the backfield for another first down. There's been a lot of receptions for Michael Turner tonight. That is his 4th flag down, back by Matt Ryan. Will Smith and Sean Rogers with the pressure, and it looks like it's going to be a tack on.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 96 of the defense. After the quarterback is down, comes in and hits him with a forearm to the head. 15 yards added into the play, first down.
Tom Johnson, his first year out of Southern Miss. He played in the Arena League, in the Canadian League, and in any league. That's 15.
It's a member of the Philadelphia Soul. Mike, get that in for you.
Plenty of time left here. Don't want to get careless if you're the Saints. Foolish penalty. Don't give Matt Ryan any extra ammunition. He's brought the Falcons back a bunch in his career.
The gain was 12, and the flag makes it a pickup of 27. Atlanta's still in this game with a score. Ryan looked at Ronnie White, who was just hit hard by Malcolm Jenkins. As he goes low on White, and Jenkins and White both feeling the effects. Yep.
Not a good sign there. It's a play action pass. They're trying to throw the post underneath the play action pass, and Roddy goes up. It's a clean hit by Malcolm Jenkins.
That throw got away from Matt Ryan. It was high.
Jenkins in the back end now as Ryan throws it down. Stelling with the catch. He'll come out of bounds. Minimal gain of a couple.
Second time in this drive, Jonathan Velma heard Matt Ryan audible, and he audibles. He checked out of a blitz into a zone coverage, and it played perfectly into the Saints' hands. Second time in this drive, Jonathan Velma has taken the game over by changing the front and changing the coverage.
Also had Roman Harper shaken up, so both backup safeties, Jonathan Amaya and Isa Abdul-Quddus, are in for the Saints as we have a timeout taken with 42 seconds left here in the third. Atlanta needing a score, try to get it to a 2-score game one more time.
John's been talking about Jonathan Vilma. You know, he's not quite 100% physically, but certainly mentally, he's at the top of his game. When he gets healthy, he'll be back to that all-pro form. But boy, what an intelligent linebacker.
Well, earlier in the game, they had both outside linebackers on the line of scrimmage. Ryan sees the blitz coming. He gets to a quick protection. He changes it, and Jonathan Velma checks out of the blitz. Jonathan Velma goes up against Drew Brees every day in practice, and it pays off in games like this. When you go against these great quarterbacks, you needed this decision maker on defense to once in a while change the look of your front end coverage.
Guys, let's see if the Falcons can take advantage of Harper and Jenkins, the starting safeties, going out on this drive for New Orleans. This is 3rd and 8, and Ryan throws complete for the first down. for Roddy White inside the 30 to the 28-yard line, a gain of a dozen.
Well, it certainly was a deep coverage by the New Orleans Saints, and the Falcons had a nice little hole to get that ball in there, too. And, of course, Matt Ryan does have the big arm, and he finds Roddy White.
Safety's very deep, 16 yards deep. Trying to take advantage of it with a Michael Turner run. He gets to the 24-yard line. So it's an 18-point deficit after 3. The Falcons are driving to stay alive, and Brees still chasing history. Glad you're spending the night after Christmas with us. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Ron Jaworski, Susie Culver on the sideline. The season finale, 42nd season of Monday Night Football. Saints trying to win the NFC South. Drew Brees 30-yard shy Dan Marino single season yardage record. Saints trying to keep their division-winning hopes alive, trail by 18. Malcolm Jenkins injured a couple of plays ago, back in at safety for New Orleans as Ryan takes a shot for Gonzalez. And it's incomplete coverage with Jabari Greer in the New Orleans secondary.
Tony Gonzalez lined up. Split as a wide receiver that time, runs a slant and go, and Jabari Greer says, I am not buying it. Watch Gonzalez run a slant and a go, and Jabari Greer plays it perfectly. It's a good thing Ryan threw that football away. 3rd down and 6. Huge 3rd down for this Falcon offense, and they've struggled getting much done lately on 3rd down.
Yeah, they're 5 of 11 so far tonight, Sean.
5 in the pattern. Ryan throws. Tough catch made by Roddy White. At the 16, a first down.
Well, he may have dropped one a little earlier, but that was a magnificent catch right there. The ball thrown wide by Matt Ryan to Roddy White, showing great body control. Gets back to the outside. And watch this catch coming up here, folks. Right there. That is outstanding job by Roddy White.
Great players do in big games. They make great catches. We need another one from Roddy right here.
Number 16, Ryan. Here comes Michael Palmer, the tight end. Gets near a first down. So Palmer, who had just 7 receptions all the season coming into the game.
Matt Ryan, you see his command of this offense. That time had a double post working at the top of the screen. Wasn't there. Checked it down in rhythm. His alternate receiver. Nice work by Matt Ryan.
Saints substituting here. Falcons ready to go. Let's see if New Orleans can get in position. Got to grab a touchdown down here.
All out blitz.
Ryan looks left. Julio Jones couldn't get the feet down. Patrick Robinson goes up and gets it with him.
They show all-out blitz, and right before the snap of the ball, they bluffed the Falcons and just rushed 3. And you see the physical presence of the rookie Julio Jones. Throw it up to the back pylon and let the big guy go up and get it. Not close. Got to have 2 feet. No feet doesn't work. Great catch, though, by Julio Jones.
Couple of first-rounders. Robinson, first-round pick a year ago, defending. Snelling the back, 2nd and goal. Ryan sees the pressure and got rid of it. Still in the tackle box there. Was their receiver in the area? The officials discuss right now. The receiver came in on that one. It got to the line of scrimmage, so the 2 officials talk. Now they get a conference of 4 to see if it's a flag for grounding or not, and it is.
Well, you see Will Smith just wins immediately against
Intentional grounding, number 2 in the offense. 10-yard penalty. Also lost it down. It'll be 3rd down.
Will Smith right now having his way with his pass rush, and Matt Ryan had no chance. That back foot stuck in the ground, and Will Smith was in his face, had to throw it away. No definition to the route.
What a big penalty that is.
Penalties are killing the Atlanta Falcons. They had over 10 the last time these 2 teams played. They have a number of key ones tonight. That'll do you in against a great team on the road.
throws, caught by White, nowhere to go. What are you going to do here? Get the field goal, make it a two-possession game? That's
no
what
question. Yes,
Mike
sir,
Smith
Mike.
will do.
What a great job by the New Orleans Saints playing zone defense. They all see the ball checked underneath the Roddy White. And watch the host of Saints get to this football. 1, 2, 3 Saints. That's how you play zone defense. Break on the quarterback's eyes and limit yards after the catch.
Timeout New Orleans. They have personnel issues. I don't know if they have 12 on the field maybe. Yes, they do. They have 12, so they take the timeout here. Up 18, 12:48 to go.
The exclusive carrier of Galaxy Nexus by Samsung. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go. And IBM. Let's build a smarter planet. Visit IBM.com/smarterplanet.
Get an aerial look at New Orleans in our aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. In a foggy and rainy day. Some of that stuff clearing out. Here in the boot in Louisiana. Good from 34 and 51. A 30-yard field goal attempt now, Matt Bryant. (31-16). But again, Atlanta field goals on drives. Third time tonight. Can't do it against the Saints and Brees. We've talked about the Brees records, needing 30 yards to break Dan Marino's single-season mark. It's been touchdowns when they've gotten close. They're taking shots here tonight by Brees. This early on, a long drive being capped on the touchdown on the slant with Marcus Colston, then getting off the spot, moving and finding Jimmy Graham, the go-to guy in the red zone, a 9-yarder, and then Robert Meacham threw him open his jaw, set a 24-yard score for the 3 touchdowns for Brees, and he gets 40 on the season. And there are those season numbers in record-setting territory in a number of categories, including that completion percentage in a single season, 71.1. He was at 70.6 in 2009 when he set the NFL mark for completion percentage.
Mike, it's amazing. I was fortunate to play the game for 17 years at this level. And to watch Drew Brees orchestrate this offense, put up these kinds of numbers. I mean, it's hard to imagine. I mean, what he does, not only throwing the football, but what he does to the line of scrimmage, the accuracy, the mobility. This guy's from a different planet.
And we made the point a couple of times that the game has changed significantly, where it's easier to pass because of the rules. The game is geared that way. Offenses go that way. But New Orleans does it at a graduate level. You know, it's kind of 6 years together. Brees, Sean Payton. And you think about the best passing attacks, the Packers and the Saints, what do they have in common? Quarterback who's there now, along with the coach who's been there for 6 years, as Aaron Rodgers came in a couple of years after Brett Favre's time ended in Green Bay. Touchback on the kick. So some of these records we're talking about, passes per game, chasing Drew Bledsoe's record when he threw it in 1994. It's 13 away from Peyton Manning's year-old mark for completions. Chasing his own history for completion percentage and that passing yardage mark, which could fall on this drive.
I think this is an organizational success also. When you think about these offensive linemen, all these receivers, the coaching, the system, Mickey Loomis bringing players in here. It's a credit to this entire organization. Sean Payton, I'm sure he loves coming to work every day with this guy.
2-score game. They run it with Chris Ivory. Up the middle for 6, 7, 8, 9.
That's my kind of bet. Yeah. This is a hard run right here. It's our AC/DC loud and hard run right here by Ivory from Tiffin College. He comes in here to training camp last year just trying to make the team, get on the practice squad. He ends up being their leading rusher, and he's filling in for the Heisman Trophy winner Ingram the last few weeks, and done a great job.
There's play action for Brees, setting and throwing middle. It's almost intercepted for a 3rd time by William Moore. Would have been his 2nd. And that would have been huge for the Falcons, who need to get the ball back desperately.
Oh, Moore's got to make this play, and Drew Brees now, he's got to be careful because this is to his left. And you know how hard this is, Jaws, coming to your left. He's a little bit late, and Will Moore should make this interception and turn this game around for the Falcons. Better not get too caught up with all these stats and all these records. Win the game first. Control your destiny here. Be careful with the football.
This is 3rd and 1. And it's Chris Ivory. And Atlanta going to come up with a stop, and a huge one to stay in this game under 12 minutes, down 15.
Well, that's their biggest play of the night on defense right now. That 3rd and short, they just swarm the Saints offensive line. You'll see it right here. Penetration will kill the running game. Both linebackers attack, making the play 2 yards deep in the backfield. Outstanding job right there by the Falcons defense. Oh, did they need that stop?
We've seen him kicking off, but this is the first time Thomas Morstead punts tonight. Good kick, distance and toward the sideline, allowing no return for Weems. It's marked out as a 45-yard kick, and the Falcons get it at the 27 with a chance. Drew Brees has thrown 2 picks, almost the 3rd, keeping Atlanta in it. Many good football games have been played in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome over the years. It's been revitalized, refurbished. Will host the Final Four in college basketball, in addition to the BCS National Championship game in early 2012 and the Super Bowl year after that. All right, let's see if the Falcons can get a touchdown and stay in this game. Down 15. Got Ryan first pass, Julio Jones spinning out of the tackle, lost the football. It's free. It's New Orleans ball. It's a Malcolm Jenkins touchdown.
These kind of plays are contagious. And this is what propelled the Saints to the World Championship in 2009. Good zone defense, gang tackling, and turnovers. Watch Julio Jones catch this pass. Gets stripped.
By
and Malcolm Jenkins picks it up and scores.
Drew Brees on the sideline. He's excited. Not about his potential record, but the defense scored. And as John said, that's what fueled him in 09. And Greg Williams tell us all weekend, they're going to come. They're going to come. Maybe he's right.
It's a New Orleans team last in the league in forcing turnovers, just 13 on the season. Shanley with the 5th forced fumble. Super Bowl winning season of 2009. 39 takeaways for this New Orleans team. They had about just as many in the regular season games since last year and this combined. It's been a struggle to get those turnovers, but Julio Jones had it knocked out of his hands by Scott Shanley, and Malcolm Jenkins has made it a 22-point New Orleans lead. And the human touchback at 6 for Morstead tonight.
Well, the Saints have done it with all 3 phases. Their offense led by Drew Brees. Aerial display, 3 touchdown passes. And special teams, Darren Sproles, the free agent acquisition of the year, takes one back 90 yards to set up another score. And then they do it on defense. Strip the ball away, be opportunistic, and score on defense. All 3 phases. Saints are looking a lot like they looked a couple years ago, Mike.
And they score. They put 15 minutes on the clock, and they score. Roddy White, the catch. Seeking the sideline, didn't get there. Jabari Greer with the stop. So the Saints have played 60 full quarters and 1 overtime. They've scored in 55 of those 60 quarters, and obviously scored in the overtime to beat Atlanta 6 weeks ago.
That's amazing. They're just a very consistent football team, and they sustain offense.
Roman Harper, who was out earlier, dehydrated, back in for New Orleans as White makes the catch in front of Greer, who's had a whole bunch of tackles here tonight.
They just continue to mix up their looks. If you look out on that field, there's 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, 5 defensive backs. The disguises, they continue until the ball is snapped. They're rushing 3, they're rushing 4, they're rushing 5, and as soon as Matt Ryan recognizes it, he audibles, Velma audibles. It's all night long been a headache for quarterback Matt Ryan.
Saints fans unhappy about the spot, so was Sean Payton. So he gave him a first down at the 30. And then another one as Jones holds on to this one out of bounds. With a gain of 17. Guys mentioned Jabari Greer's name before and often. He has 9 tackles on the night, the corner for New Orleans.
Well, he is an outstanding player. There's no question of that. Mike, you mentioned those 9 tackles. He can also cover people. He's one of the best cover corners in this league.
Most passes broken up, as we mentioned earlier, with 18. Future Hall of Famer Gonzalez. Yard shy of the first down. A reminder, those of you keeping an eye on Drew Brees' record chase, he needs 30 yards passing, whether it comes here in this fourth quarter or week 17 against Carolina, to break that Marino mark. Ryan has got Ronnie White breaking free between the corner and the safety. And Atlanta's back in the red zone.
This Matt Ryan, I can't say enough about Matt Ryan. That's his 30th completion. He's got over 350 yards.
Ran a double move, and he looks down the gun barrel here with the pressure in his face and lays this one out nicely over Greer before the safety got there.
At the 18, middle shot to Gonzalez is incomplete. Shanley going back in coverage. Well, the question with Matt Ryan, and it is early in his career, it's his 4th year, can he get a playoff win? That will be the task this year. Atlanta's in the tournament. Joe Flacco and Matt Ryan are compared to each other because they came in at the same time. Very similar records in their first 4 years. Quarterback records as good as anyone since Dan Marino.
Yeah, I agree. Matt Ryan's got to win a playoff game. That'll begin to define his career because he wins an awful lot of games, we know.
Everyone around Atlanta will take it in a heartbeat. They really love what he's about and has that it quality, as Tony Gonzalez told me this week. Throws it to the 9 to Tony.
This Gonzalez, he's got such a great feel of where to sit between zone defenders, and the timing for Matt Ryan has been very impressive tonight. Let's see if they can get it in the goal across the end zone here. They've struggled in these tight red zone situations all night.
0 for 2 inside the red zone. A couple of misses from the fringe as well. Just need a couple of yards for a first down. Ryan buying time for White. Incomplete. Over there on the sideline. Flag over it as well in the back of the end zone.
Pass interference, offense, number 84. Penalties declined, 4th down.
Penalties are just killing Atlanta. And Falcons have to go for this now. Can't worry about it now. You have to find a way to make a play. 4th and goal at the 10. Saints have not blitzed much. 4th down and 3. I'm sorry, 4th and 2. Saints have not blitzed much down here in this situation in the red zone.
White in motion, Ryan pressure, has to get rid of it, incomplete, and the Saints pressure that you talked about, John, gets Ryan. And the New Orleans defense has made a couple of statements here in this second quarter. That was the last game of the year, and it looked like the game was going to end because the Panthers kicked a field goal with 1 second left, but the kickoff went out of bounds. No time came off the clock. Brees had a chance, and he said to us this week, I never thought I'd get close to the record again. And it has not been a goal of this season coming in. Obviously, you don't set such a silly ideal. If you list our top 10 things, this wasn't it. But as the season has gone on, and it's been on the radar, and he's averaged 340 passing yards a game, it became more of a reality. And with a 22-point lead and 8:16 left, we'll see if the Saints take a shot and Brees tries to gain 30 yards and set that mark.
There's a lot of cameras out here the Mercedes-Benz Superdome right now.
Yeah, Sean Payton told Susie that he doubted that 10 players in the locker room knew it, but 60,000 plus in this stadium do know it. Many of the fans on their feet here in New Orleans as Brees and the Saints break the huddle. Well, another first down run. They've done this most of this half with Chris Ivory. And he stopped a loss of about 3 yards by this swarming Atlanta defense. And the Falcons look back at what might have been tonight has been their inability to do enough inside the 25-yard line. 3 field goals and then missed opportunities at touchdowns.
And penalties.
Yes.
6 big ones officially, but really 7 with the pass interference on Roddy White that was declined. This might be a passing situation. Even though they have a 22-point lead, Jaws.
Do that often enough.
Dials passes up, Sean.
Ready, what's up?
Brees retreats, throws underneath. It's incomplete, intended for Marcus Colston as Corey Bierman in coverage, dropping back to make the play. Bierman, a lineman out of Montana, was part of a national championship at the FCS level, 1AA.
It's those exchange blitzes they run in Atlanta. They bring a linebacker and they drop a defensive end. That time, Bierman dropped perfectly underneath that little quick out route, sets up a 3rd and 12.
Darren Sproles is the back, as per usual, on 3rd down. Sproles picks up the pressure. Brees escapes, and he'll just run for it. Going to keep the first down. Penalty marker down. Back by Brees at the end zone as he was diving for the first down. That it will not be in the end zone, so it won't be a safety. It's a conversation now with Jeff Triplett and the umpire because a flag was thrown. Looked like it was a hold, and if it's a penalty in the end zone, it's a safety. Jeff Rice, the umpire, discussing with the referee Triplett.
There is no hold on the play, as it is a screen pass. The blocker was shedding him to the side.
So the run will keep Brees 3 yards short of the first down.
We'll see Bushrod number 74 on the left of your screen, which lays on John Abraham. I'm not so sure it was a screen. In fact, it wasn't a screen. And Brees gets nailed on the sideline. This is not what you want to see from Drew Brees. I love the fierce competitiveness, but get out of bounds.
So a punt for Thomas Morstead. Rocket shot. 59 yards, fair caught by Weems at the 23-yard line. Coming up after the game, we'll have the GMC postgame on SportsCenter. Stay tuned for that, and then we'll be down to 16 games, 1 full week of play left. The Saints play Carolina here at home, and if the Saints hang on to win, that'll be a 1 o'clock Eastern, noon Central start. There's some consideration for sliding the starting time as they try to make sure for competitive balance all the games that mean something to each other happen in the same window. If the Saints happen to lose, we'd have a much bigger story, but it would also be a late start, 3:15 Central Time on Sunday.
There's another penalty for Atlanta.
False start, 61 of the offense. 5-yard penalties, still first down.
This was an interesting test here for Atlanta coming into this one. Kind of a measuring stick. They're back in the playoffs. People wanted to know, okay, they were the 1 seed, got knocked out in the first round last year by Green Bay on the Packers' path to the Super Bowl. Could they do the reverse, come in as a 5 or 6 seed and surprise some people? Not with the penalties and the red zone issues they've had here tonight. Jason Snelling out of the backfield gains about 6.
And Mike, also, you know, what's disturbing to me is if you look at the Falcons, say, hey, can they, get to the playoffs and make some noise? They're going to need some pass rush pressure. They just didn't get enough on Drew Brees tonight. When you get in the playoffs, you're always facing capable quarterbacks.
Julio Jones crossing underneath at the 30, 4 shy of the first down. certainly have the elite teams in the NFC. Green Bay with just the one loss. The 49ers continuing their roll at 12-3. Saints trying to get to that 12-3 mark as well. And then the two wild cards, the Lions and the Falcons. And congratulations to Jim Schwartz in Detroit. A dominating performance against San Diego at home 2 days ago to get in for the first time since '99. Harry Douglas stopped shy. Johnny Patrick, the rookie.
That's great defense. Excuse me, Mike. Overload blitz, man-to-man coverage, and sure tackling. Watch a blitz come on the left side of your screen. They're one short, ball's thrown hot. Perfect play. Rookie Johnny Patrick out of Louisville. They like the progress of that young man, and you never have enough good cover guys when you get ready for the Green Bay Packers and some of these offenses they're going to see down the road.
It's not overtime, but it's 4th and 1 in their own territory. And the Falcons try to pick up another one.
Porter. Tracy Porter makes a great play in tight man-to-man coverage. Here's a slant route, Julio Jones. You see that big split that Julio Jones has. He splits so wide, Jaws. Yeah. It's almost like Porter knew exactly where he was running. That's timed perfectly. Saints have played very well on defense. I know they've given up a lot of yards, but they've been very good in the red zone. They've scored on defense, and they've frustrated this Falcon offense. And the offense of the Falcons really has to be disgusted with the amount of penalties they've committed tonight.
At the 33, 30 yards away from the record. Only have one completion for a yard on the last 3 drives. Brees will take a shot at it. Brees loading up, throwing incomplete for Jimmy Graham with the coverage good from William Moore, the safety.
And Mike Smith can't be real happy on the other sideline, down 22 points. Here comes McQuiston checking in, number 76, as an eligible tight end.
They've done a better job on the Saints offense as a whole in this second half. Brees 5 of 10 passing in this second half. And back to the run, and Pierre Thomas only for a yard with Bierman and Lofton there. His offense was rolling in the first half, especially that second quarter. There's the by-half split for Brees.
Well, you look at Drew Brees coming into this game, Mike. He was completing 71.5% of his passes. And that's a record clip. You know, he's below 60% right now, so he has really struggled here in the second half as those numbers validated.
From the 32, Brees throws his punt for a gain of 11 and a first down to Colston at the 21.
Well, you talk about a quarterback complete command at the line of scrimmage. He calls out the play and he says he's coming off the slot. He reads the blitz pre-snap and makes a terrific throw into Marcus Colston for the first down. But boy, you talk about control at the line of scrimmage, understanding what the defense is doing. That is preparation.
8 and 12, 18 from the record. They're at the 20.
Mike 50, Mike 50.
And they're out of the gun. And they're going for it. Brees throws, caught the sideline to the 9-yard line to Devery Henderson. And you can sense that the fans know that Brees very close to this 27-year-old record, only 7 yards away.
I'm getting excited up here, Jaws.
Hey, the fans getting on their feet right now.
It's
pretty exciting.
His ability to handle so much offense. It's like he knows the coverage every single time before the ball is snapped. Let's see if he can deliver another one here.
Crescendo here in the dome. Brees 7 yards away from the record. Throws sideline through the hands of Devery Henderson. And incomplete with 2:56 to go. And John talked about Mike Smith in the Atlanta side. Make no mistake here, up 22 and out of the gun. Peyton and the Saints going for the record here in this drive.
And I think at the end of the day, Mike Smith understands, given the record that's at stake.
It's up to you to stop it. It's the pros, right?
Yes.
Well, Drew Brees told us he would like to break the record on Monday Night Football, so it does mean something to him to do it tonight.
Split backs, needing 7 yards. Brees throws in the zone. Touchdown, and there's the record.
That's unbelievable.
Drew Brees in rare air. The all-time single-season NFL passing record.
Casey will attempt the point after.
That music you hear was piped through the PA, waiting for the announcement from the public address. And Sean Payton taking a timeout here.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us.
30-second timeout.
Please join us at in honoring Drew Brees and his teammates on his becoming the National Football League's all-time single-season passing leader. Drew Brees! 1984, and has stood for 27 years. Congratulations, Drew Brees.
Extra point is added by Casey, 45-16.
Incredible. Just incredible. 27 years Dan Marino's record stood.
2006, Drew Brees, there were questions on whether or not he would ever play again. Serious shoulder injury. He unites with Sean Payton. He throws the ball to Darren Sproles on a halfback choice. Same route they ran last week against the Vikings, but
I guess a bunch of players knew he was close.
Yeah, they knew. You think he is a special accuracy, command.
Yeah,
what doesn't he have? He's gotten out of trouble tonight. He's been the man of the year. He's a world champion. You just root for guys like Drew Brees. That's almost 5,100 yards in 15 games, Jaws. That's 12 300-yard games in one season.
One left.
There's the mastermind behind a lot of it.
And Brees, very selfless right throughout. He kept pointing to the great people, the players, the staff, this system that he's been in for 6 years. So many of the receivers, Henderson, Moore, Colston, Meacham have been here for quite some time. And Jimmy Graham brings the ball back. He's the one who's been added the last 2 years, and it was caught by Sproles, the newest addition to this very lethal passing attack. We've mentioned the name over and over, and it is with great respect we talk about Dan Marino's accomplishment. As we've emphasized, very different era of football. But, Jaws, you were a backup for Marino at the end of your career, and you spoke to Dan today.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Dan this afternoon. He said he was very happy for Drew Brees, and he was hopeful that he would break the record. Dan said, hey, he's a class act. You know, Dan knows that. Dan was himself. High praise for Drew Brees.
Marino, he was great, too, now. Unbelievable accomplishment to throw for that many yards in 2011 or any year. It's a lot of yards and a great team accomplishment.
Chris Redmond is in at quarterback for the Saints. Matt Ryan out, and another guy who's got a whole bunch of NFL records, Tony Gonzalez, with that grab there. Just give you some perspective. The NFL average in the year that Marino set his mark was 228. So the delta, the difference of Marino's per game average and the NFL average, about 90 yards. This year, Brees is 98 yards above what the NFL average is. The point there, yes, there's more passing. Yes, there are more passing yards. But Brees in this season has done more above average than Marino did in his record year. For those who will just point to the changes in the record, in the rules, and the passing yardage going up. Redmond, the 34-year-old out of Louisville, in mop-up time here, goes to Roddy White, shy of the 40. In a city where they know how to throw a party and to celebrate moments, not just a division clincher, but a record setter of New Orleans' new favorite son, Drew Brees. The offensive line who blocked for this record-setting performance, getting their moment to put over the mantle. We'll hear from Drew Brees at the end of our broadcast and then have full coverage on GMC postgame coming up on SportsCenter. Is that our guy, Frenchie?
That's him.
Top artist in the area here with a little bit of an artistic New Orleans-style remembrance of this record-setting night for the Saints and Drew Brees. New Orleans will win the division. And Atlanta's going to have some work to do to not come back here in a couple of weeks. Pass intended for Eric Weems is incomplete.
Yeah, I don't think Atlanta's going to want to come back here in a couple of weeks. That's for sure, Mike. They just they got whipped tonight. It's that simple.
You know, you
Mike
go back
Smith's
to
done a good job, but boy, tough one tonight.
Yep. You guys go back to Dan Marino. All those young quarterbacks we brought in for the ESPN quarterback shows. Yep. We always show them a couple clips of Dan Marino, and all of them gasp. That quick release he had.
Yep. As Mike said, I backed Danny up for a couple years down in Miami. And I tell you, it was fun watching him in practice every day. No one could throw the ball like Dan Marino.
Redmond's pass is incomplete. So the Falcons are going to fall to 9-6 here, and they will be a game behind Detroit in the wild card race for the 5 and the 6. The only way the Falcons will be the 5 is if they beat Tampa. And what has happened there? Wheels have come off for the Buccaneers. And the Lions would need to lose in Green Bay. And again, let's see how the week plays out. Will Mike McCarthy play Aaron Rodgers the whole game? You would think not. Will Charles Woodson play, which is so important with the way the Lions are throwing the ball? So Atlanta might be looking at the 6th seed after being the 1 last year. Weems with the catch, the 45-yard line into Saints territory with $1:42 to go. Gain of 18.
Yeah, I find it a little strange right now if the Falcons continue to throw the football like this. You may just want to get out of here and not get anyone hurt.
That was Steve Gleason on the sideline there, talking to Drew Brees. And as we wrap up our 6th season of Monday Night Football on ESPN, and never forget the 3rd game we did in here, the Katrina game. It was against the Falcons, and Steve Gleason blocked the punt after Michael Vick and the Falcons went 3 and out. As Weems catches it down the sideline, he's knocked out of bounds. The 38-yard line. First responders were honored, and the Dome was reopened just 13 months after. It was the place of such sadness and horror, and this place was as loud as any stadium we've ever been in when Gleason blocked it and Curtis DeLoach recovered for the touchdown. Gleason revealing this fall that he's being diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, and in declining health. And there have been a couple of fundraisers, including right before Thanksgiving. Love you, man. You see Drew Brees saying that to Steve Gleason. Brees, all the Saints have been very supportive of the fundraising and awareness efforts of ALS on behalf of Steve Gleason. Pass incomplete. Tony Gonzalez, the intended receiver. Gleason has been here for a couple of games this season, a regular around the Saints games, and good to see that he was able to have that moment with Brees. There's Steve. Good special teamer, backup corner. And a guy is certainly keeping your thoughts and prayers here. And a lot of activities and fundraising being done by the Saints as well. And I'm sure you can check the Saints website to find out more of what they're trying to do with Steve. "57 seconds left. Chris Redmond's pass back to Weems right around the 30-yard line. So the Saints still alive for the #2 seed in the NFC. #1 is Green Bay. That's locked down. San Francisco locks down the 2 if they beat St. Louis. And New Orleans will play Carolina in here on Sunday.
And Mike, we've seen 2 teams in the last 2 weeks that are totally different. The 49ers and that defense, the Saints in this offense. Saw Green Bay play last night. There's going to be some interesting matchups in these playoffs.
Quick Rogers keeps his feet grinding. It'll be a first down, but that should be the last play of the game as the Saints will win 45-16. The #2 seed if they win and the 49ers lose to the Rams. But with this win, the New Orleans Saints have won the NFC South for the 2nd time in 3 years. Get out of here! 45-16 and a record-setting performance from Drew Brees.
That's up, guys. Congratulations. Good luck. Thank you. See you soon. Take care of this. That's again.
The other quarterbacks, Matt Ryan, Chris Redmond over for a congratulatory handshake.
Frank
Grimes, who had that hit with Brees. 5,087 yards, the NFL single-season record. Drew Brees with Susie Colbert.
Drew, you love history. You've made history. What was the first thing that went through your mind when that ball hit Darren Sproles' hands?
Well, honestly, I was really trying not to think about the record or anything. I knew we were close. A couple guys had mentioned stuff to me on the sideline, and I didn't want to hear it. You know, it's like a pitcher with a no-hitter, I guess. But I was just thinking about, you know, throwing completions and scoring a touchdown. And Sproles, he did a great job getting inside on that deal, caught it, got in the end zone, and then I just got bum rushed by the offensive lineman. So I figured at that point, okay, I guess we probably broke the record, or else they wouldn't be hoisting me up like this.
But for everyone in here, you were so close. And to do it with a touchdown, we could all feel the anticipation. Couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I knew after the touchdown to Meacham that we were really close. I didn't know how close, but really close. And then we had a couple of those drives that just stalled out, and I thought, you got to be kidding me. And we got to, especially since the whole game, we had been converting first downs, doing all the right things offensively, both in the run and the pass, and yet we couldn't put a drive together, you know, in the 4th quarter. And I thought, we got to get this ball back. We got to go down and score and put one together. And if it happens, it happens. But if it doesn't, at least we finish strong. And hey, we finished and got the record as well.
What will you tell your 2 little boys that Daddy did tonight?
Oh, man. Well, they were at home sleeping, but they might have felt the reverberation that the Superdome created with all the noise in here. I mean, I love our fans. I love the fact that everybody can be a part of this on Monday Night Football. There's so many people that are a part of this. It's not about me. It's about this team. It's about this city. It's about these fans. So many people that contributed to this, and I'm happy for them.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Drew Brees, record setter and NFC South champion again. 45-16 our final score. More coverage of the game and post-game coming up on Sports Air. Special thanks to Betty White, who opened our show, the star of Hot in Cleveland. She opened the telecast tonight. John Gruden, Ron Jaworski, Susie Colbert, Mike Tirico, thank you for watching the 42nd season of Monday Night Football. We thank the players who starred on the NFL's special stage, and we thank our team. Without peer in our profession, without peer as people. If you look at our team photo, we say we'll see you in 2012.